Hey, welcome to Breaking Bread, hosted by me, CrunkChocolate, a show where we break verbal bread with the quote-unquote enemy. Whenever Manchester City has an upcoming match, I will be here having a conversation with a supporter of City's upcoming opponent. Shout out to everybody who is watching on YouTube, listening on an audio podcast. You're only getting the first 10 minutes, but make sure you leave a comment, subscribe if this is your first time here. Hello, rate, review, 5 stars. Rate us 5 stars, please. Say something nice. But our real MVPs, you subscribers on Patreon who will be enjoying the full episode of this and all of tons of other premium content. It's the new season or new year. Have tons of really amazing guests lined up. The fun is about to begin. We have 2 tiers. Some allow you more episodes than others. They're all very affordable. One is for either just a cup of coffee. Another one is for a pint of beer. Just one a month. And you can subscribe, get amazing content, and support an independent podcast. Today, we talk Wolverhampton versus Manchester City. We welcome our buddies to the Etihad. Things are scary, very, very scary at the moment for Wolverhampton. They've changed ownership, even though I believe it's still a sibling. It's just a different sibling. So that seems to have helped. It looks like you're going to break Derby's record. There was for a moment where it looked like you could potentially not get 11 points. I'm interested to hear thoughts on the squad, on the manager, just so many questions on what's going on about Wolverhampton Wanderers, who are, they're lost. They're wandering in the world right now, you could say. So we are happy to welcome back on. Shout out Whole Lotta Wolves podcast. Give it up for our friend, Danny. How are you?
Thank you. What an introduction.
I spoke from the heart, how I felt. Oh man. Let's start with something light though. Before we get into all things Wolverhampton, what is something that you think is overrated about football?
Well, I mean, obviously I'm going to say the Premier League. It's way overrated. I don't know why anyone wants to be in it. It's just another. It's a different level, and the going down to the championship. That's just a different league. It's just different. We don't have to talk about which one is better or worse, or brings in more money or less money. Totally overrated. Being in the top flight.
You sound like somebody who has already just like mentally put themselves into the championship, which, I mean, fair, safe, protect your mentals. But yeah, no, that's a rough thing to do. I mean, what is it?
Don't talk to me about hope here.
You just go unbeaten for the rest of the season. You might figure it out.
Yeah. It's vanishingly unlikely. I think it's something like 98% chance that we go down. And really, I mean, I think I'm a numbers person, and I think some of these things are a little overblown because that during our winless run, people would trot out the no team has survived having lost this many games at the beginning of the season, etc. And I think part of that is just it just hadn't been done yet. It's so unlikely that someone would have lost all their games early. But I mean that puts you at a mathematical disadvantage. And the reality is we got to win 5 more games than Forest, and winning 5 games this season. 5 more games from now might be a stretch. 5 more games than Forest might be tough. So
Well, and
Think
especially
that that's not going to come to fruition.
yeah, I mean, especially because you're own respectfully. Obviously, everything is as respectful as I can say any of these things, but they are the facts. You've only won one game this season, so to think that you're now going to win five more games, then
Right.
that would be an unreal run. I'm not going to lie. I don't speak highly of Wolves as a club, and it's just because they've kind of done this whole like, will we get relegated? Nope, just kidding. Will we get
Yeah.
relegated? Just so I'm just like, get it over with already. But my hate for Nottingham Forest. Oh, so they are now the club that I just kind of like focus on, and I just like just because how they move and just it's silly. They were the darlings last year. The fan base seemed really cool, and now this year they just seem just like they annoy me how City fans have been annoying me when we struggle. What they because they're giving off like Barca vibes, like oh our team should be winning every game by 50 points and sack Pep, blah 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 blah, and you're hearing that stuff coming from Forest, and it's like bro, last year you guys were just talking about how you're happy here, and now
Yeah.
you're like want to win the world. Like make up your mind. I need some kind of consistency. And again, it was nothing against the Wolves fan base. Everybody that I know who's like a Wolves supporter and everything, y'all are all amazing people. It's just the whole like, come on now, just get relegated and get it over with. But then you find out about the ownership and how the team has been handled. All that stuff kind of bums me out because then again,
Yeah.
it's like how often are the fans kind of like put to the sidelines because these rich people want to make awful decisions, and we're seeing it with City and how they're handling the stadium and the renovations and the ticket prices and stuff like this, and even on the Wolves where you have this potentially historically woeful side and you still have like top 10 like 15 expensive tickets in the season in the league,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't make sense to me. But again, these are very rich people who don't necessarily care about the day-to-day rumblings of people like us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like it's a story that's probably, pretty familiar. Like if, like just in the modern day, not even in sports, where it's sort of like the story of a large company that is just trying to squeeze
Mm-hmm.
as much as they can out of something, and really like that making them lose sight of um, what what it takes to actually succeed, and even just from a business standpoint. Um, so, you brought up ticket prices. They hiked season ticket prices a couple of summers ago, and it was a big deal for the fan base. Obviously, Wolverhampton is not the most affluent area of the country, and it just felt like the amount of money that they're talking about that they're getting for that hike, is so tiny compared to the agent fees. I think that season they had spent something like 12 million just on the agent fees around our transfers. And so it's like the amount of money you're getting out of the season tickets is like dwarfed by that. So it's the same thing when they sort of screwed over the women's team, who's actually doing really great this season. But last season, they did some nonsense, and it
Mm-hmm.
was really about not supporting them financially
Yeah.
to the tune of something like £2 million. And it's just like, what is the point? And like
Mm-hmm.
that kind of attitude can only come from like a super massive corporation that just looks at a thing and says, no, that's not the type of thing we want to spend $1 million. Like, if I
Mm-hmm.
hear this thing, I'm not associating with millions of dollars. If it's under millions, then yes. But if it's over X millions, no. So yeah, it is just like absolute neglect. Um, and maybe they were deluded themselves, and thought like, well, we're still doing what we've always done. Pedro Neto was a no one when we brought him in, and so like these players, the fans are all upset because these players aren't familiar to them, but they'll see. But
Mm-hmm.
when you look at the project since we got promoted, but especially since COVID, it really has been year on year degradation where you can kind of see like the players that are left and how they bear the hallmarks of like I can see how you were trying to replace Diogo Jota and then replace Diogo Jota's a replacement, but now we've ended up, now that we've gone through that iteration two or three times,
Mm.
the player that we have now we can objectively see is not even in the same world as that original player that we started with.
Yeah.
So like each successive one, you can sort of squint your eyes and say like, okay, yeah, they might be there in a year or two. But then like after 5, 6 years of that, you look at the
Mm.
players that you have and you're like, this isn't remotely close. Like I'd still rather have Raul Jimenez now, let alone
Yeah.
Raul Jimenez when he left us, you know, like he's doing fine, you know, but like we haven't really replaced him adequately and we haven't replaced his replacements adequately either.
Yeah, that was the thing with Wolves was they would always find these players and yeah, you'd be like, wow, they're ballers. And for a few years, Wolves really was feeding the streets. Like they would go on to really be key players on other clubs. And yeah, then you just, and that